Well, good afternoon, everyone. I think it's still okay. Happy New Year. Best wishes to everyone for 2024. It's going to be a great year, hopefully. And welcome back to school. Hopefully it's going successful. But what are we on? Day 3. Still lots of things can go wrong, but it is wonderful to see everyone back, and I hope you enjoyed the Christmas break. So we're going to kick off. Hopefully today's session will be of interest. I think in about a month's time, on the 6th of February, we have Safer Internet Day. So we did schedule this session in and around perhaps schools and school leaders and digital ambassadors in the school might be thinking around, what are you doing and what are the types of things or initiatives you might be planning coming up to Safer Internet Day. But I think for some, the idea of Safer Internet Day can sort of spark joy. And then for others, I think it's one of those things where it's a reminder of what you can be doing and the types of things that schools can be doing around supporting young people, supporting learners around their digital well-being and around cyber resilience and internet safety. So today's session is all around digital well-being, and I'm really delighted to have two fabulous schools. Braes High School, we have Mr. Vosser, who's Deputy Head Teacher, and we have Katherine O'Sullivan and a group of digital leaders, digital ambassadors in Presentation Secondary School in Waterford with us today. Both schools are mentor schools. So Braes High School was awarded Digital Schools Awards in 2021, and then the Digital Wellbeing Award in 2022. And Presentation Secondary School has been awarded the Digital Schools Award in 2023. And Katherine, in the last session, has shared some really interesting initiatives and campaigns and the work that her students have been doing to support digital wellbeing in her school. So we've invited Katherine back, and together Katherine and her students are going to present on digital wellbeing. So hopefully today's session will be a really practical session for everyone. And with that, I am going to hand over to Katherine and the girls. I think it's Tia, Buvni and Lily. I caught you there, Katherine, just as you were.
No, I decided I would lock the door just because we are at school here. So, anything could happen.
That's it.
So I am going to share those slides. So can you see those okay?
They're just coming up now. Yep, that's great.
Yep. Right. So I suppose before I introduce you to the girls, I'm going to give maybe an overview of what we as a staff or our school management as well kind of do in terms of digital wellbeing in our school. So I suppose we've found that it's really important that digital wellbeing is embedded across the curriculum and not just maybe in the digital classes. And to do that, we have had internal campaigns ourselves, using our TY Digital Leaders team running Safer Internet campaigns in the school, and you'll hear all about that from the three girls in a minute. But also we engage with external agencies. So on the first slide there, I just put up some of the external agencies that we engage with. So I suppose talking you through the different images there, on the top left-hand corner, we have Microsoft Dreamspace, which they train our Dreamspace ambassadors. We were involved in the pilot program, and part of that was digital citizenship. I've just put in there the local Garda Síochána because they've been absolutely excellent to us. Last year, they came in and they gave a talk to our transition years on Safer Internet Day. And this year, they've actually gone and collaborated with our local credit union here in Lisduggan, and they sourced funding with another organisation there that you can see on screen called Cyber Safe Kids. And as a result of this collaboration, all our first, second and third year students got workshops with Cyber Safe Kids before Christmas. And I think that worked out really well for us. A few other things there, you're going to hear a lot about WebWise today, and we are using the resources from WebWise. They have an excellent range of ready-made lesson plans, With our current second years, we're doing the Connected program. We're also using the Respect resource that has been given to all schools for use in junior cycle SPHE. And our TYs are doing the Coco's Law series of lessons as well. So they're absolutely excellent. And they support us very well in our Safer Internet Day campaigns. I put IDA in there because we have a digital advisor and we get sustained support from what used to be called the PDST TIE, and they're now under IDA. And they provided our staff with training on things like ethical research and plagiarism and copyright and the importance of embedding that across the curriculum. And I also put in AIB there because we were recently contacted by our local bank who are going to come in and give talks to our senior students on the importance of online scamming and how to avoid that, and the dangers of dealing with online finances. And I think that's something really important for young people. I suppose in terms of the curriculum, all our junior cycle students have either 1 or 2 periods of computers on their timetable. And as I mentioned, with the WebWise resources, we're doing digital citizenship through that. We also link with our digital learning plan, our digital action plan. So topics we've had in the past have been, as I mentioned, the ethical research. I mentioned the outside agencies, and I think then that brings me on to our big internal campaign every year for Safer Internet Day. And I suppose one thing we have learned that this cannot be just done coming up to Safer Internet Day. It needs to be done constantly throughout the year, and that's why we have engaged with the external agencies. But I'm now going to hand you over to Tia, first of all, who's going to talk about her Safer Internet Day campaign back in 2022, and hopefully we'll be able to get the student perspective. Okay, over to you, Tia.
Yeah. So hi, I'm Tia, and I'm a 6th year student. And I was the chairperson of the Digital Leaders back in 2022. So we had a very busy year despite the COVID restrictions that were present at the time. I was a part of the Safer Internet Day Ambassador program, and that's run under WebWise. So a lot of the resources that we used throughout our campaigns were from them. So we had a few workshops that you can see up on the upper left-hand side, where we had a debate, and we made workshops that kind of linked in with things that are on the curriculum for younger junior cert students. For example, the one you can see here is based on the English curriculum that's focused on Romeo and Juliet, and we posed the question, would it be ethical if Tybalt used photos of Romeo and Juliet and posted online? And we figured that was a really engaging way to kind of facilitate with young people and to kind of give that peer-to-peer support on how relatable internet safety is. As well as that, you can see on the bottom right-hand corner, but we had a poster competition as well, mainly for the junior cert students to kind of, in conjunction with their art and SPHE classes, to kind of provide lessons throughout the medium of art that will teach different important resources for internet safety. And we figured that to make it more relatable for young people as well, was the prize were pennies vouchers, which definitely added that element of competitiveness to it. And we saw a huge turn up of people who engaged with that program because of it. As well as that, as Mrs. Sullivan mentioned about Coco's Law, but all the TY students engaged with the Shona Project's Shine Festival at that time, and they facilitated an interview with Jackie Fox, the mother of Nicole Fox, who Coco's Law is named after. And we kind of developed that empathy to understanding the consequences of online harassment and online bullying. And we really figured that kind of helped flatline some of the problems that do arise from online bullying. And I think most noteworthy was I made a rap. I wrote a rap that was called Rules of the Internet. And we, in conjunction with other digital leaders, we made a music video with our principal, our deputy principal, and other members of staff. And we showed it to everyone in the school over an online Microsoft Teams event. And I think it was it's safe to say it was very engaging, because we'd hear it even being sung in the corridors because of how catchy it was. So I do think it was a good way to kind of hammer home the the benefits of internet safety in a way that doesn't just feel like demeaning. And the reason I did get involved with internet safety was obviously because I was actually doing the GOSCA program for my bronze GOSCA, which Wuvi will elaborate on. But as well as that, to kind of continue on our efforts, we don't want it just to be one day. We want the effects of internet safety to be heard throughout the school for years to come. So we actually produced a digital charter, which is up now. That we surveyed students and we asked them what they really wanted to be seen in our digital charter, and we actually had it signed by our head girl at the time, Eve Daly, and we signed by members of staff, students, and parents. So really, all the shareholders in our school was able to contribute and take on this digital charter. And then as well as that, we made a video to where everyone said it, where we had members of the student body each say a quote from it. And then it really made it a really engaging way that everyone kind of memorized the digital charter and they kind of keeps it in mind. Moving on to the next slide. We were very lucky we were very happy with our program, and our Safer Internet Day program or campaign in 2022 was awarded the best overall post-primary campaign in the Safer Internet Day WebWise Awards. And as well as that, myself and another digital ambassador won second place in terms of leadership, which we're very proud about. And then to continue with our efforts of, pushing our digital charter, is we made posters of them, and you can see them around our school today to kind of just really continue that message of digital safety and the importance of digital resilience. Now I'll pass you on now to Lily.
Hiya, I'm Lily. I was a TY digital leader last year, so for 2022 and 2023. We've done our theme for Internet Safety Day last year was cyberbullying. So we did a lot of different workshops and presentations about that over the week, as well as
I think you did the workshops, didn't you, Lily?
Yeah, the CPD for teachers, which was an opportunity for the students to present to the teachers for a bit of a reversed role, kind of there.
Teachers became the students.
Yeah. On the survey, we created a survey for the students to see what they wanted out of their Internet Safety Day and what they wanted to learn about. And the survey came back saying that they all wanted to learn about cyberbullying, the majority. And
I suppose that was the student voice then.
Yeah, that was, yeah. And that was involved in the slideshows showing the teachers about the students and their how that would affect how it would affect the students.
So you were able to tell the teachers what the students had given back in the survey and what they wanted to put in place to solve the problem of cyberbullying.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
There was also, we were given
you ran a TikTok competition.
A TikTok competition, yeah. So the younger years, so the juniors, the third years, were
first and second years, and third juniors,
were given the TikTok competition where they would create, the classes would create their own TikToks about cyberbullying and internet safety, and we would pick a winner out of them, and the winner would get a prize.
And why did you pick TikTok?
We thought that since it'll be a younger generation, picking TikTok would be a good idea to engage them in it, as it's a very common app among younger people. So we thought that having them do that would be a bit more relatable and easier for them to learn them.
So it got them kind of the enthusiasm.
Yeah, it got them very enthusiastic. So then for the younger years as well, the TY students gave the younger years different workshops as well.
And if I remember correctly, Lily, I think I was in one of the classes you delivered a workshop too. You had lots of kind of walking debates and things like that.
Yes, we had interactive activities. So we did walking debates where we got to find out the students' own opinions, which was really important for us to get a kind of idea of what they knew and what they were going to learn about digital safety. And there's the picture then in the middle on the top of us doing that. We used some information that we got from WebWise in our PowerPoints as well to help with that. And
Then I think the final thing was you liaised with the Gardaí.
With the Garda Síochána, yeah. So our local Garda came to the school to deliver his own presentation on cyber safety and digital well-being as well. Yeah. And then that day as well, that was on Safer Internet Day. And as well as that, we, me and a few of the other digital leaders hosted an online Teams event for the entire school. Everyone logged on and we gave some tips and some, we announced the winners of the TikTok competition. We showed them and we had a bit of fun. Yeah.
And I think if I remember correctly, you had a whole school Kahoot, wasn't it?
Yes, we did. We had, at the end, we had a Kahoot where we got all of the classes to log on. And the winners of that Kahoot then also got a prize.
And Lily, is that you in the pink sunglasses there?
Yeah,
Right
on
on the side of that picture.
right, yeah,
Okay.
that's me.
Right.
Yeah, that's it then. Yeah, on to Buvni then, and you have your own.
Hi, my name is Buvni. I'm a current TY who's gotten the opportunity to be a Safer Internet Day ambassador. And I chose to become a digital leader because of the Goshka Bronze Award, which is basically you do 13 hours of community involvement, 13 hours of physical activity, and 13 hours of personal skill. I chose to become a digital leader for my community involvement so I could teach my peers and our school about how to be safe on the internet. And I think it was on the 6th of December, with WebWise, we did a online training for Safer Internet Day ambassadors. And also, next week, I'm going to be heading to Google HQ in Dublin, which is really, really exciting because it's like, Google and it's like really interesting. And I hope to learn more about being a Safer Internet Day ambassador and how to develop this year's Safer Internet Day campaign. And for this year, we're thinking the digital leaders and the Safer Internet Day ambassadors, me and another girl, we're thinking of doing a scavenger hunt for a campaign where we'll put up like digital footprint icons or like phone icons with clues and tips on how to avoid having a bad digital footprint. And we'll have the students like look around the school for these icons, and whoever gets the most clues gets a prize. We're also thinking of doing workshops for from first to third year about digital footprint and how you have to avoid doing avoid putting up things that may consequence you in the future on the internet, because you have to be careful of what you do on the internet and how it can impact your future. We're also thinking of doing an art competition to have a Safer Internet Day mascot that we would be using for our future Safer Internet Day campaigns. And for that, we'd also include a prize for the winner of the art competition. And we're hoping to have an interactive campaign this year where it'll be peer-led and we'll have student voice, and hopefully it'll be as good as the other girls did last year and the year before. And yeah, that's basically it.
No pressure, Buvni. And just the theme from WebWise, the Safer Internet Day this year is
technology in our world, and presentation is thinking of doing digital footprint as the theme.
Okay, so there you have it. There's our past 3 years of Safer Internet Day campaigns, and no pressure on Buvni now to be as good as the last 2 years.
I think she's up for the challenge.
I think she is, yeah, I think she is.
But a big act to follow. That's fantastic. An amazing team, Katherine. And I know when we were talking earlier, you obviously put in a lot of work in terms of making sure the teachers and the management, provide the time for the pupils to be involved, and that it is across the curriculum. I love some of the ideas that you've integrated it into all different types of subjects, and then obviously giving the time and the support for the pupils to be involved in all of these sort of external opportunities as well. I think, just to give you credit, I have a couple of daughters. One of them is on the student council, and I can tell you she's going to be bombarded after this with, I have so many ideas that she can take away. I love the things that you're doing. I love the fact that it's led by the pupils, and I think, Tia, you touched on it a lot in terms of engagement and how you can actually, really sort of get that sort of learning, the challenges, without it feeling like, it's another sort of lesson. So really well done to all of you. I'm going to hand over to Mr. Vosser, and then we can come around if there's any questions, or if anybody would like to ask any of the girls or Katherine anything, we'll come back again, but just to make sure we give you time. So I'll hand over to you then, Mr. Vosser.
Thanks very much, Anna. That's very kind. I am incredibly jealous of your opportunity to visit Google in Dublin. So yeah, really, really jealous. I'm sure you're going to have an absolutely fabulous time. Having been to the offices in London, brilliant. So there'll be, I'm sure, lots of great stuff going on there. But I'm going to talk to you today about the digital wellbeing that we've got going on at Braze High School. And as was in the introduction, we've had our digital schools for a couple of years in terms of the award, and we did the Digital Wellbeing Award in January 2022. So that's a couple of years ago now, but it's something that's always changing, and just really important, I guess, to keep it fresh and keep revisiting it, because the way young people are experiencing digital technology is continually changing, and their experiences online are changing as well. I'm going to open with a little quote that we had just at the start of the report that we got after our Digital Wellbeing Award visit, and I really feel this encapsulates how embedded digital wellbeing is, but also that wider sense of the importance of safeguarding in school. And I think for us, that concept of digital wellbeing is about maintaining that healthy balance and that healthy relationship with technology, as well as digital devices more broadly. So we're looking at making sure that those devices and that engagement with digital supports the learning, absolutely, but you also want to make sure that it's looking after people's well-being and also contributing towards a healthy lifestyle. And I think we all as a school community recognise that the potential impact that excessive use of technology could have can be really negative. And pretty much all the young people that we work with have smartphones. They all have a school-issued device, and I'll talk about that very briefly shortly. But they also got access to computers, games consoles, and other gadgets. So what impact is that having on their mental health? How is that affecting their emotional well-being? And it also has an impact on physical health as well. So we explore this right across our curriculum, and so when we first started being really aware, I guess, about digital wellbeing was during that time when we were in lockdown, and we were trying to check in with young people and make sure that they were safe and well at home during lockdown. But then when they returned to school, there was obviously a lot of young people used to using technology a lot, and not all of that usage had been positive, especially in terms of peer relationships. So we developed a digital wellbeing resource called Braze Brightside, and we'll be able to drop the link to that into the chat if people want to go and have a look at this. But effectively, that's our online hub, originally just for like digital health and wellbeing, but I would say it now encapsulates all of our health and wellbeing strategies and activities. And it's, the idea is to collate everything into one place for yes, young people to be able to access, but it wasn't just young people. It came out of a discussion with one of our pastoral heads was having with a parent who was looking for information about how they could support their child, and the types of images that they had been looking at on social media. And we realized, well, we've got lots of parents where we're having lots of conversations who are all looking for support. Can we signpost them to be able to go to the right places? Because we aren't experts in all these areas, but I think as schools, quite often parents and young people look at us and expect us to be experts in all these areas. But what we are really good at doing as a school community is going, well, here are the experts local to us, and here are the people that you can contact if you need a bit more information, and if you need an introduction or a help to access that service, then as a school we can do that. So in collaboration with the young people, we put together the Braze Brightside website. They made the logo, the different kind of key partner agencies. They also contributed to putting that in, and effectively we tried to make it as pupil designed and the content curated by them. So we started off, when I think about like the apps and resources that we make available for the children, we had some of them after they'd used it, so actually you need to be 16 plus to use that app, so that's probably not actually a good recommendation. And we were like, oh yeah, good spot. So it was really nice to get them started, but then to also come back and critically go, actually that's not going to work for the school community, you need to change that. So it's a lot about signposting and making apps available. In terms of though how we deliver digital wellbeing and this idea of cyber resilience and internet safety, because I guess what came before digital wellbeing. We were quite used to talking about this idea of CRIS, cyber resilience and internet safety. Certainly in Scotland, the Safe, Secure and Prosperous, a Cyber Resilient Strategy for Scotland document came out in 2015, and there was a internet safety report for schools as well, which informed what we should be doing. But we placed the responsibility of how we met that cyber resilience and internet safety mission effectively with our digital leaders. So they've spoken at a few Digital Schools Awards events before, and they're really engaged. However, Tia, I heard you had a rap in Waterford, so I would like us to be able to have a rap. Maybe we could share some lyrics or something, because it's really important that young people are talking to other young people about how they stay safe online and what this idea of cyber resilience is. So being able to reach in really interesting ways is so important. So when I think about what we're doing across our broad general educations, that's first 3 years of secondary school, our S1 Digital Citizen Unit really introduces this idea of the digital footprint, and we take that right the way through to a cybersecurity course that we have at level 6. So that's equivalent to HIRES if you are familiar with the Scottish education system. And we're looking at ethical hacking and digital forensics. So there's that really useful stuff about what you need to know in the broad general education to be able to be safe online. But there's also the really techie stuff in our curriculum for those who want to see that through and potentially have a career when they leave school. But all the way through that, we've tried to have learners being empowered to lead the learning and share their ideas and knowledge with others. So I was watching a computing class yesterday, and they were having a conversation about Snapchat, and the teacher was, very rightly talking about Snapchat maps and how you can see the locations of where photos have been sent and shared from. But what the children then went on to explain was that there is a live feature within Snapchat maps, and the teacher didn't realize if you were sharing your Snapchat live location, you're always sharing that location as long as your mobile phone is switched on. So effectively, young people could track each other 24 hours a day. And some spoke about how they knew really well about who they were sharing with, but others were less certain. And the technology is moving so quickly, it's difficult for teachers to be able to keep up with that. But by allowing the learners to lead that learning and share what tools they're using to be able to communicate with each other, what information and data is being shared, it led on to this really interesting conversation about location sharing. And I thought, that wouldn't have happened if it was the teacher delivering, but the natural conversation came out. And now he's got an awareness of something to include within future learning. So a lot of it sits within the technologies faculty and computing science, but there's of course a nice link with our PSE curriculum. So we've got study skills apps, for example. If you look on the Braze Brightside website, you'll see there's a mental health supports page in the pupil information section, and down the bottom there's like a list of apps, and we try and make those apps available on the iPad. Every young person has an iPad, so that's really nice. But there's other apps that young people just want to download on their phones to be able to use as well. So we've tried to curate that app and keep it up to date as best we can. But in terms of, wider than just technologies or PSE, every curriculum teacher knows it's their responsibility. If they are doing research online, they might just revisit, what are safe searching skills, or if they're looking for images, we might revisit, well, what's appropriate use of imaging or text, and how do we credit and acknowledge that? And that comes down to us feeling confident in our acceptable use policies, and just trying to encourage people to talk about that in everyday normal language and not make a big deal about it, but just about educating people. And I said our digital leaders do a wonderful job of that. They're fairly active for us on social media when we run little campaigns. They do some videos, and also just little fancy posters in Canva around the school as well. So it's always nice because you're getting new digital leaders in who want to be able to do that. Last year, one of the really nice projects that our digital leaders ran was a workshop, and they had a real focus, the senior digital leaders, on mental health, and they wanted to be able to talk about digital tools that you could use to be able to look after your mental health and how it could be a mechanism to support you. So that was lovely. And this year's Internet Safety Day, which is on the 6th of February, we've got some digital leaders inviting a few groups of parents into the building, and that'd be the first time since COVID. So 2019 was the last time we had parents in the building. With Police Scotland, we're very fortunate to have a very supportive campus police officer who's happy to give a bit of an input just to discuss about how we keep young people safe when they're surfing the internet at home, and making sure they're comfortable to have those conversations about if they are seeing something online they're not happy with, and they know that they can talk to their parents or talk to someone at school. And some of the young people, the only device that they might have to be able to surf the internet on a bigger screen that's not their phone screen is their school issued iPad. So during lockdown, we issued iPads to our most vulnerable learners, and then the Connected Falkirk project, when we were back in school, we managed to get effectively between our two lockdowns in Scotland, the Connected Falkirk project, getting all the young people with a device, and that's been really successful in getting young people using a device. But they've also got use of that device at home. That's enabled home learning, but also there's going to naturally be a bit of play on these devices. So it's just making sure they understand that when they're using the device, even though it is at home, it is a school issued device, so it's monitored and filtered just like you would experience at school. So there's plenty of education that goes on around that. I think with anywhere where you've got a one-to-one device program, and in terms of looking after digital wellbeing, we don't set any restrictions on when devices can be used. So information home to parents is really important, but we're also, acutely aware of kind of the equity in terms of access to digital devices, in terms of charging them, cost of the school day. So I think we know our families really well, and so we've got groups of young people who might drop their iPad off for charging, maybe at lunchtimes or break times or after school when they're in activity, so that they can then take home a charged iPad, because charging at home might be a barrier for them. So that for me is just about knowing the young people you work with, and making sure where you can put an intervention in to be able to support their digital usage, or support them in having access to that device. That's really important. One of the things that we've done is made sure every iPad's got a screen protector on it, and a really good case as well. So in terms of keeping those devices going and working well, that's worked really nicely. But I think when you are issuing a device as a school and you've got young people using it at home, digital wellbeing and the learning behind that becomes really important to make sure that it's being used sensibly. There's lots of other things I could talk about in terms of wellbeing, but I know we're only really doing about half an hour, so I'll wrap up there. But I'm of course more than happy to take any questions about what we do, whether that's now or you get me on Twitter or drop me an email. Absolutely, more than welcome. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vosser. And I think we did share the link to your portal. And as you were saying, that started off perhaps as a sort of a singular focus, but now you can see how broadly, and going back to your first slide in terms of the report, how well you have sort of worked, you know, the whole area of digital into the whole pastoral care in terms of the pupils, but also how you actually support parents as well, and the access that parents have to all of the information and to what the school is doing and the priorities. And I think that's really important because it's all there and visible.
And you know, we try to do that not just with like the wellbeing side of things in terms of learning and teaching. We used to have an IT policy and a learning and teaching policy. Now we have a learning and teaching policy that includes digital, because digital learning is central to high quality learning and teaching. So digital isn't something that sits separate now to everything. It should be a central part of every policy or theme that we're working on, whether it's, you know, learning and teaching, leadership of change, or wellbeing.
Super. Aoife, I don't know if we have any questions or if you've been able to address them.
Yeah, there was no additional questions, I don't think.
Well, if anybody does, I mean, I just want to mention a couple of things. I mean, you know, Braes and Presentation Secondary School, I think, you know, obviously there's a huge amount that we could take in. It's a really short time. I think we could spend a lot more time talking about the various things that are happening in the school. But the one thing I would say, that if anybody is interested in this whole area of digital wellbeing, on our website, on the awardsforselfie.eu, when you've registered, you can now view the digital wellbeing framework. And depending on where you are in terms of looking at this whole space, but there is a framework there that you could review, take in as part of a team, even working with the student body, looking at what the priorities could be for the coming year, or setting out as part of your digital action plan some aspects of digital wellbeing. But at least that framework might be a support to sort of give you those sort of milestones, or some direction in terms of where you might look. Currently, I think on the website, the resources are focused around Scotland, but that will be updated. And we would be delighted to encourage any of the Irish schools to also look at that framework and apply for the Digital Wellbeing Award if that's something that you're interested in doing. So if, I mean, I just want to wrap up, I suppose. I don't want to hold people over. Today's webinar will be available online in the next couple of days. I just want to say a huge thank you to Mr. Vosser and to Katherine O'Sullivan, to Buvni, to Tia, to Lily. You've been fantastic coming on today, sharing. I know we are going to be, you know, there's so many things that are going to be so memorable. I mean, Tia, you didn't say that rap was available. You're probably copywriting it right now, because Mr. Vosser is about to to take your lyrics and then put them to sort of an award-winning song and make millions from it. So one of the things about digital wellbeing, while you're also protecting your identity, you want to protect your copyright and your creativity. And I think that's obviously really important, you know, because you have original ideas there. So I just want to say thank you so much, everyone. Really, to all of the participants, thank you for joining us. I hope you found it useful. Tons and tons of ideas that you hopefully can take away. And always, you know, do get in touch with us if there's anything that we can do to support you. So just finally to say thank you to both schools. I'm sure you'll agree they were fantastic presentations. And our next session is going to be on CPD, and that'll be on the 31st of January, same time, 3 o'clock on Wednesday. So if you'd like to join us then, I'm sure you'll receive the invite from us in the next couple of days. If there's any of you going to be attending BET in 2 weeks' time and you'd like to meet up with any of the team from Digital Schools Awards or from HP, we just get in touch with us. We'd be delighted to meet with you on the Wednesday or Thursday, if there is anyone going to attend. So with that, thank you so much. Enjoy your evening, and best wishes again for the year ahead, everyone.